The only way you can truly see change is to help create it. Lena Waithe. There is a yearning that silently courses through each of us, a longing for life to be gentler, for circumstances to shift, for humanity to be more empathetic, and for the future to unveil a vast, newfound path. Yet, the tragedy lies in how easily we become mere bystanders in our own lives, quietly waiting for a miracle to seek us out. We fixate our gaze on a tightly sealed door, secretly hoping it will open on its own accord, rather than actively reaching out to find the key. This agonizing wait plants a perilous illusion in our minds. We believe we are moving forward simply because our hearts agonize over the future. That perception is a trap. Thought has never been action. Desire does not sculpt reality on its own, and hope can never take the place of taking the leap. A person can spend years lamenting their career without ever opening a book to hone their skills. They may crave a sanctuary of peace while relentlessly feeding the habits that invite storms into their minds. They might yearn for genuine love while forgetting how to be tender to themselves and to others. True metamorphosis only blossoms the moment we cease to agonize. When will life get better? And begin to ask, what can I transform this very day? It does not demand a quantum leap. It might merely be the softest of steps, a conversation steeped in vulnerable candor, a courageous choice to cast off the past, a wholesome habit just sown, a moment of wiping away tears to rise after a fall, or a resolute no to the weights dragging your soul into the abyss. Such acts are like drops of water silently plunging into a placid lake. A single drop cannot forge an ocean, but thousands can shift the entire current. The most miraculous thing is that when you roll up your sleeves to architect change, you are not merely altering external circumstances, you are restructuring the very way you perceive yourself. Every proactive deed is a resounding manifesto that you are far from powerless. Every stride forward serves as a profound reminder to your mind. I possess absolute sovereignty over my own destiny, and from that radiant soil, authentic confidence takes flight. Do not merely stand on the precipice of existence, waiting idly for the world to change. Step into the water and begin parting the waves. For sometimes, the very thing you are desperately waiting for is not a mystical intervention from the cosmos, but the stronger, more resilient version of yourself, weary of waiting for you to take action. You do not need to turn the whole world upside down today. You simply need to ignite a shift real enough within your soul and let it become the spark that births an entirely different life. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. Amelia Earhart. This world has never suffered a shortage of dazzling dreams or flawless plans drafted on blank parchment. So many of us are engrossed in pondering, preparing, and agonizingly waiting for that perfect moment, only to gently comfort ourselves that tomorrow will be a more fitting time. But deep down, we know the truth. Procrastination does not stem from a lack of intellect or direction. It is a shield forged from fear, the dread of facing the actual outcome once we truly step onto the battlefield. While we have yet to begin, we reserve the right to keep our hopes intact. But the moment we venture forth, the specter of failure immediately materializes. That is precisely why the decision to act is the very spark that shatters the mind's gridlock. It is akin to standing before a roaring river and bravely placing your foot into the surging water. You cannot know for certain how biting the cold will be, how many twists the path ahead conceals, or how long it will take to reach the opposite shore. But one eternal truth remains. You will forever be oblivious if you remain a mere shadow upon the bank. After that initial decision to plunge in, the throne ruling your journey is no longer fleeting inspiration, but the relentless cadence of tenacity. Inspiration may lend wings to your first few joyous steps, but only ironclad discipline will anchor you to the path. When all fiery emotions have dissipated, there will be days when the darkness of doubt shrouds your mind. Days when the harvest yields nothing but an absolute zero. Days when every effort seems to dissolve into thin air. It is in these somber notes that people collapse, not because they lack capability, but because they have underestimated the miraculous power of time's trying for just one more day. Success rarely crashes down like a blinding meteorite. It is distilled and chiseled silently from countless minuscule acts repeated relentlessly over the years, like a trail carved by thousands of footsteps. Every time you persevere and walk on, then you inch closer to the summit of your dreams. Do not wait for fear to evaporate before you begin. Act courageously, even when your legs tremble. Do not wait for a surge of motivation to move. Move to generate your own wave of momentum, and do not obsess over whether your pace is fast or slow. The only thing worth concerning yourself with is, are you still moving forward? The initial path is invariably the most grueling, but once you pierce through the fog of your own hesitation, the road ahead will organically broaden. A decision will liberate you from where you are stuck, while perseverance will elevate you to where you rightfully belong. The most important step a person can take is always the next one. Dalinar Kholin. The greatest impediment on the human journey is our tendency to be torn apart by the ruins of the past or overly bewildered by the haze of what is yet to come. We glance back at past defeats and torment ourselves for not doing better. We stare fixedly into the future, trembling at the thought of whether we have the strength to bear the weight of expectations. But between the two abysses of past and future, there is only one fulcrum over which we wield absolute dominion, the present moment. And in that present, what holds decisive meaning is not the distance you have already traversed, but the attitude with which you will take your very next step. The human mind harbors a peculiar inclination. It delights in turning grand goals into towering mountains that crush the soul. When viewing the entirety of a prolonged odyssey at once, we are easily flattened by a sense of overwhelm. A person yearning to breathe new life into their existence might envision endless thorns, hundreds of tasks, and ultimately choose to surrender. But if you narrow your gaze, focusing entirely on time's the next step, that colossal mountain suddenly shrinks. You do not necessarily have to behold the entire panorama of the future today. You only need to know exactly where to place your foot in this exact second. That is the psychological artistry of small steps. A fallen soul need not instantly become a glorious victor. They simply need to muster the strength to stand up. A lost wanderer need not instantly discover a lifelong mission. They simply need to choose one wholesome direction to begin. One who has strayed down the wrong path need not turn back time. They simply need to make a single righteous choice from this moment onward. Imagine traversing alone through an exhaustingly dense, fog-draped forest. You cannot see the valley in the distance, nor even the trail directly beneath your feet. But if the lantern in your hand illuminates just 2 meters ahead, you can cross the entire forest by steadfastly following that humble halo of light. Do not underestimate the profound ripple effect of trivial things. A page of contemplation read today can morph into deep wisdom years later. An hour of forging yourself daily can temper a spirit of steel. A sound decision right now can steer the helm of your future destiny. Boundless oceans are forever filled by the ceaseless flow of countless water drops. If your body is weary today, just take one humble step. If your soul is gripped by fear, take one courageous step. You do not have to see the entire road to advance. You only need enough courage for the next step. For sometimes, that seemingly minuscule footfall is the very lever of greatness that catapults you out of the quagmire you thought would imprison you forever. I don't like to gamble, but if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself. Beyoncé, we constantly harbor a ravenous thirst for safety, wanting absolute certainty of victory before daring to depart, wanting guarantees that our efforts will reap sweet fruits, that our choices will be flawless, and that the road ahead holds no room for tears. But this life is a battlefield rife with variables. It has never handed anyone a warranty of eternity. There are bolted doors that only crack open after we persistently knock. There are radiant fortunes that only reveal themselves when we boldly plunge into the realm of the unknown. What makes humanity so obsessed with failure is sometimes not the sensation of falling, but the cruel labels we attach to it. We fear one defeat will brand us as incompetent. We fear an aborted project equates to being a failure of a person. We fear a rejection, thinking it erodes our inherent human value. But a soul fortified with unwavering self-belief understands this. An undesirable outcome is merely an event. It can never define the totality of their identity. Betting on yourself has never been synonymous with the delusion of invincibility. Betting on yourself is the absolute conviction that, even if I fall and shatter, I still possess the strength to rise, extract the lesson, and return to the game as a far more formidable version of myself. That is the boundary delineating mature confidence from hollow arrogance. A person with mature confidence does not boldly declare, "I will undoubtedly win." They calmly state, "I may not yet know the outcome, but I trust my mettle enough to weather any storm on this journey." Standing before a bridge enshrouded in mist, with the life of your dreams on the other side, and a snug but stifling comfort zone behind you, you could stand there until the end of your days, waiting for the bridge to become absolutely unshakable. But no such bridge exists. The only thing you can carry with you is the faith that your legs are sturdy enough to cross through every tremor. If you must place a bet, wager on your capacity for infinite evolution, on your miraculous resilience after every shattering, on your discipline and growth through every tempest. Do not bet that life will always be forgiving and pave your path with roses. Bet that no matter what adversity life rains down, you will forge yourself into a warrior mighty enough to face it with your head held high. The smartest, most lucrative investment in the history of human existence does not lie in external wealth or fame. It resides in the exact moment you courageously look deep into the mirror and whisper, "I do not yet know how far I can go, but I am willing to bet everything on myself to find the answer." No matter where you're from, your dreams are valid. Lupita Nyong'o. In the grand parade of destiny, there are those fortunate enough to take flight from a starting line of velvet, swathed in favorable conditions and vast, pre-paved avenues. Yet, there are also countless multitudes who must commence their voyage from the darkest, most confining corners. They bear the shackles of circumstance on their shoulders, the contemptuous whispers of the world, and even the scars of past failures that force them to doubt their own aspirations. However, engrave this into your soul. The worth of a dream is never appraised by where you begin. It is measured by the flame of meaning it ignites within your spirit, and by the way you fiercely protect it against the typhoons of life. Humanity easily falls into a tragic snare, comparing our impoverished starting line with the resplendent finish line of another. We gasp in awe at the halo illuminating their stage, yet remain willfully blind to the years they spent in isolation, wringing out their sweat in the shadows. That distorted comparison scatters toxins, making us mistakenly believe we are sluggish, inferior, or that our dreams are grotesquely surreal compared to our meager reality. But remember, a seed does not require the smooth soil of a royal garden to claim its right to ascend into an ancient tree. There are seeds that must endure the crushing weight of barren earth, pierce through gravel, and stand unyielding against storms to seek the light. It is that very grueling ordeal that tempers a root system deeply and immovably anchored in the earth, a trait that greenhouse saplings can never possess. Your starting point may dictate the difficulty of the initial stretch, but it possesses absolutely no authority to dictate the final destination of your life. Never allow an impoverished past or old wounds to become a life sentence for your future. You may have been born into hardship, stumbled agonizingly, faced skepticism, or let golden opportunities slip away. But all those things are merely the opening chapters of a book. They are by no means the finale of your existence. The only thing of vital significance is, what are you doing with the jewels you hold in your hands today? A dream does not need to wait for the whole world's applause to become sacred. Sometimes, before the world acknowledges you, you must be the most devout believer that the flame within your heart is priceless. Grant yourself permission to dream magnificent dreams, even if, at present, you can only crawl in small, bloodied steps. The thread of fate does not ask where you were born. It only silently records who you bravely chose to become. Your path may be more treacherous. Your efforts may have to be 100-fold those of others, but it is that very sacrifice that renders your triumph prouder and more blindingly brilliant than ever before. You do not need a flawless starting point to architect a glorious future. You only need a willpower of iron so that you never betray your own dreams. Your dreams are immensely valid, for they serve as a sacred reminder that, beneath the obscuring dust of reality, the most extraordinary version of yourself is waiting to be awakened.